Hello everyone, this is part 2 of What If Naruto Had the Power to Control Vectors, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
It was chaos. An emergency council meeting had been called after the disappearance of Hitomi Uchiha, Hanabi Hyuga and Minato's own daughter Mito Namikaze. All the clan heads were present along with the civilian council. Minato also had to be there, although he didn't want to be. He wanted to be out there looking for his daughter because he'd be damned if he lost another child. Kushina felt the same way, as she was out there looking for them along with every Anbu squad Minato had. How Minato wanted to be out there, but he had to sit here and answer these idiots' questions that they would ask over and over again. How much of a head start did they get? A random council member asked. A good 3 hours. Minato replied for what felt like the 5th time today. Where are they heading? We don't know. Who took them? We don't know. Minato was getting really frustrated with these questions. No amount of talking was going to fix the problem, and by the looks of it Itachi and Hiashi felt the same way. They didn't seem like they were worried from the outside, but Minato knew they wanted to be out looking too. Minato knew that Hiashi had already ordered the Hyugas to assist the Anbu. Plus the way that they looked at anyone who asked yet another pointless question was more than enough to figure out that they didn't want to be here. Minato finally had enough. Listen, you are just repeating the same questions over and over again, so I think we should call this meeting off. Do you know for sure they were taken? What if they ran away on their own accord? A voice said, but not just any random voice, the voice of Danzo. Danzo's question finally got the council to shut up, but not in the way Minato wanted. And just what reason would they have to run away? Minato said angrily. Danzo stood up to make his point. Your daughter and the Hyuga heiress have been spending quite a bit of time around Hitomi Uchiha, correct? Yes, Minato said, though he didn't see why it mattered. May I remind you that not so long ago the Uchiha attempted a coup. Danzo said. In order to stop the coup we killed the Uchiha clan, but under the assumption that the kids didn't know anything we let them live. But what if we were wrong? What if Hitomi did know and wanted to take down the leaf? She would need the help of foreign allies. What if she ran away to get them and convinced your daughter and the Hyuga to come with her? That is no evidence to support they ran away. Minato said, losing his temper. Is there any evidence to support they were taken? Danzo replied. Mito, Hanabi and Hitomi were running as fast as they could. That was their only plan. They didn't know how to cover their tracks, so all they could do was run and hope they made it into the land of hot water before they were caught. How much farther? Hitomi asked. We should almost be at the border. Mito said. Do you think they found the genin yet? Hitomi asked. Definitely. Hanabi said. Which is all the more reason we need to make it to the border. They had a lot less time than they thought, however, because Kushina and her Anbu squad weren't that far behind. They had found the tracks a while ago and had been running along it ever since. These tracks are more recent. We must be getting close, Kushina said. Even with the 3-hour head start Kushina was closing in, mainly due to her using tree hopping. Where are we heading? Kushina asked the Anbu behind her. On this current path we'll hit the land of hot water, he replied. Shit. Kushina though, the land of hot water isn't their ally, so if they don't catch them before they make it across the border, then they'll have to contact the daimyo to cross the border themselves. It would take too long, however, and they lose the tracks. How close is the border? Kushina asked. Too close, the Anbu replied. Pick up the pace, Kushina yelled as she herself went even faster. She would not lose another child. Kushina ran as fast as she could, only her daughter's safety on her mind, but in the end. Lady Kushina, stop. One of the Anbu yelled. Kushina stopped on reaction alone. Why should I? We still haven't found them. She yelled back. Because we've hit the border, we can't go any farther, the Anbu replied. Kushina looked in front of her, and sure enough the markings that divided the border were there. They didn't make it in time. Tell my husband to contact the land of hot water's daimyo right now, Kushina yelled. The Anbu actually looked a little frightened as he ran back to the village. We should go back to Lady Kushina. It will at the very least be a day before we can cross over, another Anbu said. No, I'm staying right here. It will give my husband more motivation to contact the daimyo as fast as he can. Kushina said stubbornly. Mito, Hanabi and Hitomi all had their hands on their knees and were breathing heavily. They had crossed the border and ran a little farther so they were out of sight because if Anbu reached the border and could still see them they might just run across the border to get them. Although they didn't know how good of a decision it was because Kushina arrived at the border a mere 4 minutes before they crossed it. We made it. I can't believe it, Hitomi said through bated breath. We haven't made it yet, Mito said. There's no doubt that they'll request entrance to the land of hot water, but if we can blend ourselves in with the foot traffic and make it to the land of frost then they'll have no idea where we went. How long will it take for them to get entrance? Hitomi asked. For so many Anbu, normally a couple days, Mito said. But since we're such important people, they'll probably be able to do it in a day. Maybe even less since the land of hot water doesn't have a ninja village. So what you're saying is that we don't get any rest? Hanabi said. Is that a problem for you? Mito asked, giving Hanabi a smirk. Hanabi also gave Mito a smirk before taking her hands off her knees and standing up straight. Of course not, I'm just worried about you. We don't want to bring you to your brother half dead. It took almost a day and a half to get permission to enter the land of hot water. When the OK came in, Kushina and Anbu searched up and down the land of hot water, but it was too late. The trail had disappeared. The girls could be anywhere. Kushina had to report back to the Leaf and tell everyone that she had failed to find them. When she made it back, the first thing she did was head home and hopefully get some rest, but when she walked in the door late at night, Minato was sitting there. Apparently he had been waiting for her. How'd it go? He asked, although he already knew the answer. Kushina, having had to be tough in front of the Anbu squad, finally broke down in tears as she walked over and collapsed on Minato. We lost another one, Minato. We must be the worst parents in the world. How could we let Mito be taken? Minato rubbed Kushina's head, trying to calm her down. That might not be the case, Minato said. Kushina looked up at her husband. What do you mean? Minato explained Danzo's theory. That is complete crap. No way those girls would leave the village on their own accord. Minato took a deep breath. Kushina wasn't going to like this. Hell, he didn't like. Actually, there is a lot of evidence to support they left on their own. Kushina looked at Minato, not believing a word. An examination on the genin that was attacked revealed that his chakra points were seal. When the boy woke up, her confirmed it was Hanabi Hyuga who attacked him. No, Kushina said, feeling like the weight of the world had just been placed on her shoulders. That can't be. Are you telling me that you believe Danzo? No, I don't believe him, but I do believe that Mito and the other weren't taken. Minato said, trying not to cry himself. Why would they leave? Kushina said. I don't know, but we'll find out. I'm calling Jiraiya back to the village. He'll be here for an extended stay, so when his spy network finds them we'll know right away. Minato said silently. They sat there and enjoying each other's comfort for a while. What about the girls? How are they doing? Kushina asked. I don't know, I told them and they just went up to their rooms and haven't come out since. Minato replied. It must be so hard on them. Kushina said. Minato told everyone who was involved that the mission was a failure the next day. He couldn't come out and say it publicly since he couldn't let the other villagers know that there was a Hyuga and an Uchiha out there for the taking, but they probably find out soon. It was hard to keep this kind of thing under wraps. In the Hyuga compound, Hinata had been summoned by her father. Hinata, as you know, Hanabi has fled the village for unknown reasons. Hiashi said. As such, she cannot be the future head of this clan. So the responsibility has fallen back on you. Hi, Hinata said. Since you have not had the proper training, you will be taken out of the academy. This way we can make up for all the lost time we spent training Hanabi. We won't have to deal with your Junin instructor and you won't have to go on missions. Hiashi said. Hinata didn't want to leave the academy. She wanted to be a regular genin just like her friends, but she didn't dare go against her father. I understand, Hinata said. Good, we will start by going over the basics since if I recall correctly you still weren't able to master them. Hiashi said. In the Uchiha compound, Itachi and Sasuke were sitting at the table getting ready to eat. So do you really think that the Uchiha who ran away really wants to overthrow the Leaf? Sasuke asked. I highly doubt it. Danzo probably doesn't even believe it himself. Itachi said. He just wants an excuse to send his root ninja after them. Then why did she leave? Sasuke asked. Itachi thought about it for a moment. If it was just her that ran away, then I would say it was to get stronger, then try and kill me. After all, I did kill her parents. She probably hates me, but since she's with two others, I really have no idea. It's not like she could ever kill you. You're way too strong, Sasuke said as he played with his food. You never know what the future can bring. I expected you'll be able to surpass me one day, Itachi said. Yeah, right, Sasuke said. At the Hokage's mansion, a lot less civil decisions was taking place. So Mito ran away with her little friends. That's just great, Naruto said. She and Minima were talking in the training guard inside the mansion. I bet she ran off because she got mad about me saying Naruto was weak, Naruto said, having no idea that she had actually guessed right, so she went to go find him and invited her friends to help. She'll get herself killed. Not like I care. No, she left because of you, Minima yelled. Minima had it with her sister. All Naruto did was trash talk people, and then if something didn't go her way, she would use the Kyuubi's chakra, then she would get whatever she wanted, and Minima had been letting it happen. Well, not any longer. Naruto was shocked that her sister would yell at her. Are you saying it my fault? Naruto asked, expecting Minima to backtrack and apologize. Yes, it is, Minima shouted. You talked down to her, tried your best to make her life a living hell, and even got me to ignore her. But worst of all, you used a missing brother as a trigger. Do you even care if Naruto ever comes back? Minima shouted with all the rage she had been amassing over these past years, and it felt good. Naruto was pissed Minima never talked back to her. Who do you think you are? Who do you think you are? Minima screamed. You only do the minimal work required and don't put an effort into becoming a stronger ninja. The only real attack you have it flaring you demonic chakra and using your title as the Hokage's daughter to get what you want. But that's not going to work on missions because people don't care who you are, and we both know you would never risk using your demonic chakra if Toussaint wasn't around to stop you. Are you calling me weak? Naruto yelled. Never has her skills ever been questioned before. That's right, the only reason you were stronger than Mito is because she never got any training, Minima said, crossing her arms. I'm weak you say, then let's see you handed this, Naruto said as she started leaking demonic chakra. That's not going to work anymore, Minima said. She slammed her hand on the ground. Naruto was wondering what she was doing when under her a bunch of golden chains came up through the ground and wrapped around her. When they did, they retracted, pulling Naruto with them. She was slammed into the ground lying on her stomach so she couldn't get up. Also, her demonic chakra was getting absorbed by the chains. How? When did you inherit Kar-san's chains, and how are they taking my demonic chakra away? Naruto said, trashing around trying to break the chains. Kar-san and I discovered it earlier this year. You would have known about it if you actually cared what my abilities were. As for taking your chakra, well, I asked Kar-san if I could learn how to steal a person chakra with these chains, and she taught me. Now normally you can't steal demonic chakra because it would take over the person's body, but I bet you forgot that I have some of the Kyuubi's chakra too. Naruto kept trying to leak demonic chakra, but it would just get absorbed. She couldn't do anything, she was stuck. Come on Naruto, I thought you were super strong, but once you can't use your demonic chakra, you're as worthless as a baby, Minima said mockingly. Shut up, Naruto said as she continued to struggle. Face it Naruto, you've lost, Minima said. How are you going to survive if you get caught so easily? I gave you plenty of time to dodge or use substitution, but you were so sure you could win with just demonic chakra that you didn't even think of doing or using something else. If you don't change, you're going to die, and then I'll have lost 3 siblings, Minima said sadly, then dispelled her chains and walked away, giving Naruto a lot to think about. Land of Frost. Mito, Hanabi and Hitomi were walking down a road on their way to the city Naruto was in. They were all wearing white traveling cloaks that they had brought with them. Damn, why is it so cold? Hitomi said, hugging her cloak closer to her body. Hitomi, you can't be serious. You do know where we are, right? The land of frost, Hanabi said, spreading her arms to indicate the surrounding area. Did you think it was going to be nice and warm? No. I just thought these cloaks would be enough to keep us warm, Hitomi said, blushing a little bit as she turned away from Hanabi. Hey Mito, I think we should have left this one back in the land of hot water, Hanabi said jokingly. Sorry, what did you say? Mito said, seemingly having just been pulled out of a trance. Seriously Mito, you need to pay attention, Hanabi said. Sorry, it's just that we're really close to where Naruto is and I'm excited to see him, but I'm really worried. Mito said, looking a bit down. What are you worried about? Hitomi said. What if he doesn't like me just like the rest of my family? Mito said. Don't be, he's not going to be like your sisters, I'm sure he'll love you. Hanabi said. Yeah, you're right, Mito said, rising her head a little. As they were talking, they heard a group of people coming their way. That sounds like a lot of people. Hitomi whispered. Yeah, what do you think we should do? Mito said. Let's just hide for now. Even if they don't know who we are, it's best not to let anyone see us until we make it to Naruto. Hanabi said. The girls left the road and hid behind some nearby bushes. When the group walked by, they were glad they hid because they looked like bandits and some of them had weapons. The girls could also make out what they were saying now. Are you sure about this? I mean, he's taken out a bunch of bandit camps. One of the bandits said. Those are just exaggerated stories. They can't be true, he's only a kid. Another bandit said. But he's listed in the bingo book as a B-class threat. The first bandit said. That's why we're going after him. Do you know how much money we'll get from taking him down? We're going to be able to buy enough booze and women to keep us entertained for years, and all we have to do is take down one brat. Accelerator better watch himself, the bandit said before walking far enough away that the girls couldn't hear them anymore. Did you hear that? They were talking about Naruto. Mito whispered just in case the bandits could still hear them. Yeah, but that's good for us. We can just follow then and find Naruto. Hanabi pointed out. But they're going to attack him. What if they hurt him? Mito said. Mito, are you listening to yourself? Naruto is in the bingo book as a B-class threat. There is no way that's a bunch of bandits are going to be able to hurt him. Hanabi said. Mito didn't share Hanabi's confidence. Fine, we'll follow them, but if it looks like they're going to get the jump on Naruto, we're going to help him. Mito said. If we did that, we would only get in his way or get ourselves killed. Hanabi said as they started to tail the bandits. Naruto was having a nice walk around town when a bunch of bandits suddenly ambushed him. One tried to stab him in the back of the head with a kunai, and Naruto could have sworn he heard someone gasp. The bandit, however, was sent sprawling to the ground, now holding his brokering wrist. The other bandits were met with the same fate soon after. Why don't they ever learn? Naruto said as he walked past them. Naruto wasn't going to kill them, mostly because if he took the time to kill every idiot who attacked him nowadays, he would never get anything done. Ever since he got placed in the bingo book, people would come out of the woodwork to attack him. It was more of a nuisance than anything else. The only good thing about it was, for whatever reason, people usually carried money when they attacked him, so now Naruto could let the money come to him instead of going out and destroy bandit camps to get it. It was pretty nice to be able to stay in town. Little did Naruto know that his life was about to be shaken up by the three girls that had been watching him from a nearby ally. Mito, did you see that? Your brother is a total badass. He just took out those bandits without missing a step. Hitomi said, partially jumping up and down in excitement. Mito, however, was breathing heavily. She had one of her hands placed over her heart. I thought he was going to die when that bandit tried to put a kunai through his head. I told you. There's so no way Naruto was going to let those losers touch him. Hanabi said. You should go talk to him. He is your brother. Hitomi said. I don't know. What would I say? Mito said. I'm sure it will come to you. Besides, we'll be with you. Now come on, I want to get out of this cold. Hitomi said as she started to push Mito towards Naruto, with Hanabi following close behind. Hitomi pushed Mito so she was directly behind Naruto, although he hadn't seemed to notice them yet. Excuses me, Mito said in a voice that even she knew sounded pathetic. Naruto turned his head to see three girls in white cloaks standing behind him. What do you want? Naruto asked, not sounding too friendly. I'm Ito, and I believe you're my older brother. The one with the red hair said so quick that Naruto couldn't understand what she was saying. Naruto just gave a loud sigh. I don't have time for this kid, Naruto said before turning his head and walking away. Hey wait, the one with the pupilless eyes said. We came a long way to see you and you're just going to walk away without hearing what we have to say. Naruto ignored her and kept walking. Are you just going to leave your sister just like the rest of her family, Naruto? Naruto actually paused when he heard that name, something that the girls caught. He turned back to face the girls, who all looked at him with anticipation. I haven't thought of myself as Naruto in a long time, but since you brought it up, I'll hear what you have to say. Follow me, Naruto said, almost seeming interested in what they had to say. Naruto led the girls to a nearby restaurant. They took their seat with Naruto on one side of the table and all the girls on the other side. So why did you want to see me? Naruto asked. For a couple of reasons, but first we wanted to ask you a few questions. Mito said, trying to sound business-like and redeem herself from earlier. Yeah, like why you live someplace so damn cold. Hitomi yelled, slamming her fists on the table. Naruto and the other girls couldn't believe what she said and stared at her with dropped jaws. Naruto was the first to recover and got up from his seat. I'm leaving, he said as he started to walk away. No, Mito said, holding her arm out to stop him, losing all her business-like tone and reverting back to a child. Naruto sighed and sat back down. Okay, for the first real questions, Mito said, looking at Hitomi, who looked rather embarrassed. Why don't you think of yourself as Naruto? Why do you think of me as Naruto? Naruto replied. Mito went into her explanation of how she was his little sister and how she came to the conclusion that he was Naruto and even showed him the picture to prove it. I see, Naruto said. Well, I did go to the Leaf that day, but things turned out much differently than I had planned. Naruto then told his story about how he thought he was Naruto, but how his trip to the Leaf changed that. The girls were shocked to hear the story since it meant the guard had lied to Naruto and in his testimony. Well, now I'm positive you're Naruto since my brother was taken by Orochimaru and not killed. Mito said. Naruto lied back in his chair and put his hands behind his head. Well, what do you know? I'm the Hokage's son and you are my sister. So what are you going to do now that you confirmed I'm Naruto? Take me back to the Leaf. No, I came here because I was hoping you would take care and train me to become a better ninja. Mito said and told Naruto all about her sister and the neglect of her parents. And I was also hoping you could take care and train my two friends if it isn't too much trouble. They're Hanabi Hyuga and Hitomi Uchiha. Mito said, pointing to her friends. Naruto almost fell out of his seat in surprise. Too much trouble. I'd be in enough trouble by just taking in the Hokage's runaway daughter, but an Uchiha and a Hyuga. I'll be lucky if every ninja in the elemental nation isn't on my ass by tomorrow night. The girls were saddened by Naruto's reaction. So does that mean you won't do it? Mito asked. Naruto rubbed his hand through his hair. Taking in these three girls would be a lot of trouble, but having a Hyuga and an Uchiha would help him with his only weakness, Genjutsu, and Naruto had been getting kind of bored lately. He would never admit it anyone, not even himself, but he was kind of lonely. Fine, I'll do it, Naruto said, and all the girls perked up. On a few conditions. First, don't call me Naruto, only accelerator, this is to keep my identity a secret. Second, I'm not taking in the bunch of wimps, you better do what I say. Got it. Got it, all three girls said. Naruto decided to take the girls back to his place after they ate. Hey Naru Accelerator, I've been meaning to ask you, what did you do to those bandits earlier? Mito asked on the way to Naruto's apartment. That's just my power. I have the ability to control vectors. Naruto went into a little more detail about his powers on the walk home. My hair and body are also pale because I reflect sunlight. I was wondering what that thin layer of chakra around your body was. Hanabi said. Wow, what an amazing ability. Can you teach us how to use it? Hitomi asked. No, I only got this ability because of Orochimaru. It can't be taught, and even if you awaken your Sharingan it can't be copied. Naruto said. That's stupid, Hitomi said, puffing out her cheeks a little. They made it to Naruto's apartment building, and when they got there. Oh great, Naruto said, not sounding too happy. In front of them was Naruto's apartment, but the door was ripped off its hinges. Everything was destroyed inside, and there was graffiti all over the walls with such sayings as, fuck you, and, go to hell you monster. Who would do something like this? Mito questioned. It was probably some bandits. They couldn't hurt me, so they decided to vandalize my house, Naruto said as he laid down on the torn-up couch. You sure you want to stay with me? Naruto asked. Of course, Mito said without any hesitation. Then you three can have the bed, Naruto said as he pointed to the bed, which wasn't all that bad, all things considered. Mito and Hitomi headed for the bed, but Hanabi stayed put. What wrong? Don't want to sleep in the same bed as your friends? Naruto asked. It's not that. It's just we're going to be sleeping in the same room as you. Hanabi said, making it seem like it was the most obvious thing in the world. So it's not like I'm sleeping with you. Naruto said. Yeah, but it's improper for a boy and a girl to share the same room unless they're married. Hanabi said as she was starting to blush. All you Hyugas like this. Just suck it up and go to sleep. Naruto said, rather irritated. Or you can sleep outside if it's that big of a problem. Hanabi walked towards the bed and got in with her friends, but she didn't look too happy with Naruto. I'm already regretting taking in these stupid brats, Naruto thought before falling asleep. Mito, on the other hand, was having a hard time sleeping. She was just so glad that she finally had a sibling who cared. Well, as much care as Naruto seemed able to produce, but Mito already knew from her short time with him that was just the way he was, and she was perfectly fine with that. It was much better than her family back in Konoha. The sun was up and the day was nice. Mito, Hanabi and Hitomi had gotten up about 2 hours ago excited. Today was the day Naruto was going to teach them. Unfortunately, Naruto had yet to get up. That's it. It's almost noon and he still hasn't gotten up. I'm going to wake him. Hitomi yelled as she walked towards the couch. You can't touch him. His powers will break your wrist. Mito reminded Hitomi. Hitomi stooped just moments away from touching Naruto's shoulder to shake him awake. Oh right, I forgot. But how are we supposed to wake him up? I'm tired of waiting. Maybe just try yelling, Hanabi suggested. But didn't he tell us he could also reflect sound? Guess it couldn't hurt to try. Hitomi said, shrugging her shoulders. Hey Accelerator, wake up. Hitomi shouted as loud as she could. Naruto stirred awake as if Hitomi's screaming was nothing more than a tap on the shoulder telling him to get up. Why did you wake me? Naruto said drowsily. Because it's almost noon, and you said you train us to become ninjas. Hitomi said. Why do I have to train you so early? Naruto said. It's not early. Hitomi said angrily. It is for me. I mostly sleep through the day and go out at night. Naruto said. The only reason I came back here at all last night was because you brats showed up, but if you really want me to train you then. Naruto looked around his ruined apartment. Clean up the house. That's not training. Hitomi yelled. It's stealth training. You clean the apartment while I sleep. If you wake me up you will be punished. Naruto said, glaring at them and actually releasing some killer instinct to show he was serious. Then Naruto rolled over and fell asleep aging. Good job Hitomi, we get to be maids now. Mito whispered so she didn't wake Naruto. Shut up, you two wanted him to wake too. Hitomi said. Well, at least we know now not to wake him up because that was pretty scary. Hanabi said. Yeah, I know. Can you believe he even used ki? Hitomi said. Let's just get it done. We have a lot of work to do. Mito sighed, looking around the apartment. The apartment took forever to clean, but it was mostly because for some reason Naruto became much more prone to being woken up by sounds. He almost woke up a number of times when one of the girls made any sort of noise above a whisper or the shuffling of feet. Putting the door back on the frame was the hardest part, and they couldn't believe they did it without wakening Naruto up. Once they were done, Naruto woke up on his own like he knew they were done. Wow, you brats did a pretty good job. Naruto said, sounding completely awake. Does that mean you'll actually train us? Hitomi asked. Yeah. But for right now you brats stay here, I'm going out. Naruto said as he opened up the newly put on door. Wait, don't just leave us here. Take us with you. Mito pleaded. Naruto sighed, now he was going to have to explain it to them. Alright, listen up brats. You can't come with me, you can't even leave the apartment. Why? Mito said, not understanding. Have you forgotten already? You brats ran away from Konoha, people are going to be looking for you. Does Jiraiya of the Sannin mean anything to you brats? The three girls nodded their heads. Good, because it should. He has the largest spy network in the entire elemental nations, and I bet it's working overtime trying to find out where you brats are. I honestly expected Anbu to come barging in last night, but they didn't. So right now they don't know where you are, but that most likely because Jiraiya's spies in the land of Frost hadn't gotten the order to find you brats yet since you only came to this town yesterday. They'll definitely be looking for you now though. Does that mean we can't ever leave? Hanabi asked in worry. She didn't run away just to spend in life trapped in a room. I didn't say that. Naruto pointed out, giving him a grin that in the future the girls would learn was his winning grin, which looked kind of psychotic. I'm going out to solve that problem right now, so until I get back don't set foot outside this house, alright brats? Hi, the girls said as Naruto left. Naruto walked away from the apartment complex and down the street. He needed a way to keep Jiraiya's spy network away from him. The best way to do that was to set up a counter-spy network, and Naruto knew just the guy for the job. He headed into a certain part of town, the bad part of town where gangs ruled. Most people would be afraid to travel here, but Naruto couldn't care less. When Naruto first came to this town, he traveled here and of course got attacked by thugs. After he killed them, the gang they were with decided to hunt him down for revenge. 2 months of this and the bodies piles were getting too high, so they stopped and never tried to attack him aging. Naruto was here however to talk to the gang's leader, some guy named Keys. Naruto has only met him once, but he knew that if he wanted a spy network, Keys was the guy for the job. The only thing Naruto knew about Keys was that he was a missing nin. Naruto didn't know from which village or for how long he had been a missing nin, and Naruto was pretty sure Keys was an alias. Even with all these unknowns, Naruto knew he could trust Keys because he, just like Naruto, couldn't afford to be found out. Naruto made it to the building that Keys was most likely in. The guard in front of the door moved out of the way right when he saw Naruto. Not because Naruto was welcome, it was because the guard knew that he couldn't stop him. Inside, Keys was playing cards with a bunch of people that Naruto didn't know. When Keys saw Naruto walk in, he immediately excuses himself from the game. "Hey Accelerator, what do I own the honor?" Keys said in a tone that made it seem like Naruto was his buddy. "I need to talk to you, alone," Naruto stated. "Alrighty," Keys said as he led Naruto to an empty room and locked the door. "Alright Accelerator, what do you want, because I know you didn't come over to say hello," Keys said, losing the buddy-buddy attitude. "You got that right. I need a spy network," Naruto said. "A spy network," Keys said, thinking it over. "Why do you suddenly need one of those?" "I came into possession of something that I can't let the world know I have," Naruto said. "So you don't really want a spy network, you just want your secret to stay a secret. Who do you need to keep it a secret from?" Keys asked. "Anyone who's looking, but mostly I can't let Jiraiya of the Sannin catch wind of it," Naruto replied. "Keeping secrets from Jiraiya is a pretty tall order," Keys said. "Are you saying you can't do it?" Naruto asked. "Are you serious? Who do you think turned these thugs who only thought about getting wasted and picking up girls into an organized gang? Besides, if it's only this city you need me to cover, then it shouldn't be too hard to block off Jiraiya's spies. This city isn't a hot spot either, so there should only be 1 or 2 spies around. I hope you know that this isn't free," Keys said with a cocky smirk. "I've already paid you enough. I know that you boys collected everything I leave behind at the bandit camps," Naruto said, and was glad when he saw a little bit of sweat roll down Kiss's neck. "Alright fine, I'll do your bidding, but just curious, what do you have that Jiraiya would be looking for?" Keys asked. Naruto didn't know if he should tell him, but figured that the spy network he would set up to keep Jiraiya off him would tell Keys. "The youngest daughter of the Hokage, a Hyuga and an Uchiha," Naruto said before walking out the door. "Kami Accelerator telling me to keep anyone who's looking away, don't you mean everyone who's going to be looking?" Keys said after Naruto left. Konoha. Today was the Genin exam. Too bad almost everyone had forgotten about it. It had been 1 week since Mito, Hanabi and Hitomi had run away. It was supposed to be a secret, but it got leaked and now everyone in the Hidden Leaf knew about it. That, along with Hinata being taken out of the academy, had been the only topics of discussion in the classroom for the past week. So when the Genin exam finally rolled around, most people were caught completely off guard. The class was currently working hard on the written test. For most of the clan kids this stuff was basic knowledge, but for the civilian kids, especially the ones who forgot about the test, the questions could prove difficult. There was one student who was blazing though the test, however. Minima was writing too fast. Some of the students swore they saw smoke coming from the paper. After Mito ran away, Minima had fully devoted herself to her training. She wasn't doing it just to show Naruto how strong she really was either. No, Minima was convinced someone had taken Mito. Now she knew Mito and her friends run away on their own accord, but she didn't think they were skilled enough to hide from Jiraiya's spy network this long. So Jiraiya should have found them already. The only explanation that Minima could think of on why Jiraiya hadn't found them yet was they had been taken by someone. Minima believed that Mito ran away on an impulse and was then caught by someone and hidden away. When Minima thought of that, she thought of someone like Orochimaru, and Minima hated the thought of someone doing the same things to her little sister that Orochimaru was doing to her brother. When she found whoever was holding her sister, she was going to kill them and bring Mito back. Then she was going to the same thing with Orochimaru. Then their family could finally be reunited, but in order to do any of that she had to become stronger. Naruko, on the other hand, was a complete mess. For the first time in her life, her parents weren't paying attention to her. They and Jiraiya have been working hard trying to find Mito and the other girls, but so far they weren't having any luck. Her parents were both seriously depressed, and Naruko felt like it was her fault. She had done a lot of thinking after Minima defeated her, and Naruko realized that she really didn't have any unique powers. The only things she could do that another graduating genin couldn't was leak demonic chakra, summon toads and create shadow clones. Leaking demonic chakra wasn't really a skill since she couldn't control it. She could only summon very small toads, and she had only learned the shadow clones jutsu because she threw a fit saying the regular clone jutsu was too hard due to her large amount of chakra. She probably would have been able to do regular clones with a bit of hard work, but Naruko chose the easy way out. She wasn't in any danger of not passing the genin exam, but she just felt like she wasn't at the level she should be at. The rest of the test proceeded smoothly. Minima and Sasuke came out on top with near-perfect scores on everything. Naruko passed, but the only noteworthy thing she did was produce shadow clones instead of regular clones. When they got their headbands, Minima tied it around her forehead with pride. It was half covered by the part of her hair that also fell over her left eye. Naruko looked at her headband for a little bit, feeling like she didn't really deserve it. She ended up just tying it around her arm. After everyone was done with the exam, the teachers told them to come back tomorrow for their team assignments. Naruko and Minima walked home with Minima looking the happiest she had ever been since Mito left. Minato and Kushina congratulated him at the door, but both the girls could tell their hearts weren't really in it. They both had bags under their eyes and they looked saddened despite the smiles they had when they saw Naruko's and Minima's headbands. They walked into the living room where there was a cake that had the words, "We know you'll become great kunoikas" on it. "I'm so proud of you too," Kushina said, giving them both a hug. "Thanks, Ka-san," Minima said, returning the hug. "Thanks, Ka-san," Naruko said half-heartedly. "You two should be thrilled you finally get to be ninjas, and I know you two will become just as strong as your mother if not stronger," Minato said. "Does that mean you'll start us off on C-rank missions instead of D-rank missions?" Minima asked, her eyes shining with hope. "Not a chance," Minato said, chuckling a little bit. "Or, well, that's all right because I'm going to be strong enough to go on S-rank mission soon, and don't worry about Mito or Naruto because I'm working as hard as I can. I'm going to rip Orochimaru and whoever holding Mito limb from limb and bring them back," Minima said with the most confidence Minato and Kushina had ever heard from her. For the first time since Mito had run away, they smiled a real smile because not only did they trust her daughter, but she said the exact same thing Kushina had said when Naruto was taken. Naruko could only stand to the side and watch her sister work her magic, and for the first time in her life Naruko wished she was more like her sister. The next day everyone who passed was at the academy discussing who they wanted to be on their team. The noise only stopped when Iruka came. "Well, you all made it and I just want to tell you how proud I am of each and every one of you, but let's get to teams," he said, going through a bunch of teams. Most of the kids didn't pay attention till he got to their team. Team 7 will be Naruko Namikaze, Minima Namikaze and Sasuke Uchiha. Your sensei will be Kakashi. Team 8 will be Kiba Inzuka, Shino Aburame and Sakura Haruno. Your sensei will be Kurenai. Team 10 will be Ino Yamanaka, Shikamaru Nara and Choji Akamaiki. Your sensei will be Asuma. That is all the teams. Your senseis should be here soon, Iruka said, taking his leave. The class waited around from their senseis and one by one they came. All expect Team 7's. Soon Sasuke, Naruko and Minima were the only ones in the classroom. An hour passed then too and he still didn't show up. Naruko waited around, furious that Kakashi was keeping them waiting. Minami had approached Sasuke and started asking him a bunch of questions to try and get to know him better. It took another hour before Kakashi finally came through the door. "What took you so damn long?" Naruko yelled right when he came in. "Well, you certainly have a mouth on you," Kakashi said, not sounding amused. "Anyways, meet me up on the roof," he said before disappearing in swirl of leaves. Sasuke just sighed and walked out of the classroom. Naruto was so mad however that she almost started leaking demonic chakra and would have if Minima didn't put her hand on Naruto's shoulder. Naruto turned to look at the dead serious expression on Minima's face. Naruto, you're my sister and even after what you did to Mito I still love you, but I will not tolerate you carelessly using your demonic chakra. She said. Naruto didn't like what Minima was saying, but not wanting to get pinned to the floor with chains, she stopped. Good, now let's go see a sensei. Minima said, not looking as serious as she had before. It's not like we don't already know him. Naruto said, getting up from her seat and walking out of the classroom with Minima. Well, now that we're all here, let's get to know each other. Tell us a little about yourselves. So who wants to go first? Kakashi said. I guess I will. Sasuke said. I like training and becoming stronger. I dislike people who look down on the Uchiha clan just because of the coup. My dream is to help my brother rebuild the Uchiha clan to its former glory. Light, I guess I'll go next. Minima said. I like training with my family. I hate Orochimaru and anyone else who tries to hurt my family. My dream is to one day bring Mito and Naruto back to the leaf. Kakashi turned to Naruto. You're the last one. Naruto signed. I like ramen. I dislike people who think they're better than me. My dream is. Naruto stopped. What was her dream, she wondered. She had never really thought about it before. She had always believed that she was strong, but Minima had shown her she wasn't. She guessed her dream was, my dream is to become stronger. Naruto said. Well, those are all very good dreams, but in order to attain any of them you have to pass one more test. Kakashi said. But we already passed the Genin test. Minima said. Yes, but you see, in order to become Genin you have to pass my test. Kakashi said. Meet me at training ground 3 tomorrow and don't eat any breakfast, you'll just regret it. Kakashi then diapered, aging. Damn, Kakashi always disappearing like that. Naruto cursed as she, Sasuke and Minima walked down the stairs. The next day Team 7 went to training ground 3 and waited for Kakashi, who was late, aging. Just like last time, it took him 3 hours to finally show up, and when he finally did show up he went on explaining the test like nothing had happened. Do you all understand? Kakashi asked after explaining the bell test. So only 2 of us can pass. Minima said. That's right, so let the test begin. Kakashi said, and all the kids disappeared. Kakashi looked around to try and find the kids, but before he could find them he suddenly jumped in the air to avoid being hit by golden chains coming from the ground. Kakashi landed a few feet away from the chains. It didn't look like the chains were long enough to go after him because they retreated back underground. Kakashi looked around to find Minima. He knew that she didn't have great control over her chains, so she had to be close. Kakashi saw the slightest movement in a nearby bush. Kakashi ran to the bush so fast that to Minima it looked he teleported. She couldn't do anything as Kakashi kicked her from her hiding place. She tumbled across the field until finally came to a stop. She quickly stood up to see Kakashi standing in front of her reading an orange book like he hadn't just kicked her halfway across the field. Minima knew she couldn't take Kakashi head on, so as much as she didn't want to, she ran back to the forest and hid. Well, at least she knows she'll never get the bells like that. Kakashi said offhandedly. Right after he said that, however, he heard Sasuke shout, Fireball Jutsu. A fireball engulfed Kakashi and Sasuke was sure he made a direct hit, but after the smoke cleared Kakashi was nowhere to be seen. Sasuke looked around for him but couldn't find him. Then he heard Kakashi say, Headhunter Jutsu. Sasuke was sucked down a hole until only his head was above ground. Kakashi rose up from the ground near him. You know, playing with fire is dangerous. Kakashi said before walking back to the open field, leaving Sasuke unable to move. It wasn't long before Naruto tried to charge Kakashi. Naruto faced Kakashi off in taijutsu, but it wasn't long before Kakashi sent a good solid punch to Naruto's stomach. However, instead of a grunt of pain, Naruto burst into smoke. Kakashi wasn't worried though as he spun around to see the real Naruto reaching for the bells. Kakashi kicked her back into the forest just like he did with Minima. The test went on like this. Sasuke, Naruto and Minima would try and take the bells, but in the end none of them even got close. The time ran out, but Kakashi said he would give them one more chance after they ate. But not before he tied Naruto to a post and told Minima and Sasuke not to feed her and then disappeared. Minima and Sasuke ate their lunch, but after Naruto's stomach started growling, Minima decided to have mercy on her sister and broke Kakashi rule and feed her. Sasuke eventually helped too. Then something unexpected happened. Kakashi came back and told them they passed. He then went on to explain the importance of teamwork. So in the end everything worked out and Team 7 would start missions tomorrow, and they couldn't be happier. Land of Frost. Mito was the happiest she had ever been. Finding Naruto was the greatest decision she had ever made, and today was the day she would finally start her ninja training with Hanabi and Hitomi. They hadn't been able to do it for a week because Keys had to get the spy network set up but he had just given Naruto the okay. The girls could finally leave the house. They had only left 2 times before. The first time they left Naruto's apartment was to move into a house. Keys gave them the house because it was in his territory, which he owned most of the buildings in, so it would be easier to watch the girls and he wasn't doing anything with it anyways. The house was pretty big, not as big as the mansion Mito had grown up in, but it was big enough where each the girls and Naruto could have their own room. The second time they left the house was to buy ninja supplies and new clothes. Mito was excited because it would have been the first time that she ever got stuff that was her own. Her parents never brought her anything, and when she needed new things she would just get all the old stuff that Naruto and Minima didn't use anymore. Naruto also told them they could buy whatever they wanted. It turns out that raiding bandit camps was pretty profitable, and since Naruto never really bought anything he had tons of money saved up. So the girls went on a shopping spree, something that Mito had been denied for her either life. Hanabi now wore a dark purple sleeveless jacket with the hood always up, since Naruto had told her that even with the spy network her eyes would be a dead giveaway to anyone passing by that she was a Hyuga. Since Hanabi didn't want to wear a mask, she decided on a hood to cover her eyes. She also wore dark blue Anbu style pants with blue shinobi shoes. 2 kunai holsters were resting on top of her butt, slightly covered by her jacket. Hitomi now wore a black short sleeve shirt with fishnet underneath. She had blue pants with the right pant leg going all the way down to her blue shinobi shoes, while the left pant leg stopped a bit above her ankle. She also had a kunai holster strapped to her right leg. Mito went a little more extravagant than her 2 friends, since she had never gotten to do this before. She had on crimson red shinobi shoes along with crimson red pants. She had a belt around her waist which kept her kunai holster on her right thigh. She had on a white long sleeve shirt with red flames coming from the cuffs and stopping halfway up her forearm. Of course all the girls got a bunch of kunais and anything else they needed. Just thinking about the past week made Mito so happy. Naruto had done more for her in a week than her parents had done in 9 years, and today was going to be the best yet. Hurry up. Naruto called to Mito. Hi. Mito said, running downstairs so Naruto could take them to their first training spot. Naruto took them outside the city, much to the girls' surprise. They walked along a seemingly random road for a couple of hours before Naruto suddenly stopped. Alright, we're here. Naruto said. What are you talking about? Mito said, looking around and not seeing anything. Naruto just gave them his psychotic grin. We're at your first test. You see, if I was a regular instructor you would have to go through a test before becoming genin. So I decide I would give you one to test your skills. Naruto reached into his pocket and pulled out 3 kunais that had each one of the girls' names carved into it. Now your goal is to get the one with your name on it before the sun rises tomorrow. Naruto said, pointing to the sun that was already starting to set. It's as simple as that. Then Naruto threw each of the kunais over a hill. Oh, by the way, you don't want to know what will happen if you can't get yours. The girls quickly climbed over the hill to find their kunais, but when they did their hearts skipped a beat. In the valley below was a huge bandit camp along with the kunais. Naruto must have scouted this place before and calculated where the kunais would land, because the kunais landed in such a way that none of the guards noticed. One of the kunais was embedded in some sort of flagpole towards the center of the camp. The second kunai was under a table where bandits were eating the dinner. They couldn't see the third kunai, but there was a small tear in one of the roof of a tent towards the back. The girls realized just how ridiculous this test was. For one, all the kunais had landed in places where they would hard to retrieve without being noticed, and since they were only academy students they doubted that even the 3 of them combined could take on a bandit camp this large. The kunais were also so far away they couldn't tell whose name was on which kunai. Just how do you expect us to get them? You haven't given us any training yet. We'll be killed. Mito shouted, turning around to face Naruto, but when she did he was nowhere to be found. Well, it looks like we're on our own. Hanabi said, looking back down at the camp. What should we do? Hitomi asked. We should wait till it gets dark, then we can each go for one, and if it's not the right one we could just trade. Mito suggested. Sounds like a good plan as any other. Hanabi said. I'll go for the one in the tent. I'll get the one under the table. Hitomi said. Then I guess I got the one on the flagpole. Mito said. Alright, I'm going to go around the camp so I'm closer to the tent. Hanabi said. I'll do the same. Hitomi said. Alright, good luck, we strike when the sun sets. Mito said. Hi, the girls said as they separated. Naruto was watching the girls from a tree nearby. He was impressed they were working well together and realized that it didn't matter which one got which kunai. Now he just had to see if they had the skills to actually get the kunais. The girls waited for hours. The sun went down and most of the bandits went to sleep. There were a few guards, but it was down to a skeleton crew. There would be no better time to go. Hitomi went first. She darted around tents and guards until she got to the dining area. The dining area had a bunch of tables and the one with the kunai under it was towards the center, and that was the problem, there was no cover in the dining area. If she tried to bolt for it and grab the kunai, then she would be seen. Hitomi had to think of something. She had to get the guards to leave. She thought about it for a little bit before coming up with a solution. She picked up a rock and threw into a pot that was hanging on the other end of the dining area. The pot fell down and made a loud clanking sound. The guards went over to pick it back up, and that's when Hitomi ran and grabbed the kunai. Then she quickly but quietly ran back outside the camp. Hanabi went next. She activated her Byakugan and avoided every guard until she reached the tent. She could see the chakra signature of one guy in the tent. He was sitting at a desk that faced the opening of the tent, so there was no way Hanabi could enter without being seen. Lucky for her, the guy had his desk so close to the tent that while he was sitting, the guy's back was practically touching the back of the tent. Hanabi focused and got into the stance that her father had drilled her in over 1,000 times. She then hit the tent with her palms with enough force that she managed to hit the guy's back as well. She blocked off all the chakra points she could, and the guy collapsed on the ground unconscious. Hanabi was pretty pleased with herself as she ran inside the tent and found the kunai under a different desk. Mito, having made her move around the same time Hanabi had, was already inside the camp looking at the flagpole. She was trying to figure out how to get the kunai down without anyone noticing her. Hanabi had taught her and Hitomi the tree walking exercises a while ago, but climbing the pole would instantly give her away. She pulled out one of her own kunais and aimed it at the kunai embedded in the flagpole. She was going to try and hit the kunai out, but she wasn't sure if she could do it. The only kunai training she had done was with the academy, and they really didn't teach her how to make shots as hard as this. She took aim and threw her kunai. It hit way below where she wanted it to, and it made a small thud noise which some on the guards took notice of but didn't investigate. Mito knew she couldn't miss. Aging the guards might not look into one small noise, but multiple from the same place they would surely investigate. Mito slowed her breathing just like they had taught her in the academy and threw another kunai. This one hit its mark and both of the kunais fell to the ground. Mito quickly snatched them up before the guards could come over. The girls met up outside the camp and Hanabi and Mito traded kunais since they got each other's. Even with all the careful sneaking around they did, they were in and out within an hour. So what are we going to do? Wait till sunrise for Accelerator to show up? Mito asked. That won't be necessary. You brats did a great job. Naruto said, jumping down from a tree. You got all the kunais with ample time left and you didn't even get injured, but that isn't your entire test. This next part may be even harder than the first part, but you'll have to do it or you can't become a ninja. And what are you going to have us do? Hitomi asked. Wait here, this won't take 5 minutes. Naruto said as pushed off the ground and propelled himself to the bandit camp. 4 minutes later Naruto came back and the bandit camp looked like it had been hit with an earthquake. For this part all you have to do it take the kunai you got and kill one of the bandits I left alive. The girls paled looking at Naruto. You really want used to kill someone? Hanabi said. Yes I do. Naruto said with no pity in his voice. The fact is ninja kill people, and since you brats are missing nin, not only will you have to kill people more often, but you'll also have to eventually fight against people you know from the hidden leaf. If you can't kill a simple bandit, then there's no way you could kill someone you once knew. The girls all looked at the kunai in their hands, preparing themselves for what they were about to do before heading down to the camp. Naruto watched each of the girls walk up to a wounded bandit. They didn't look like they wanted to do it, but each one of them plugged their kunai through a bandit's head. When they came back, they were sad and depressed. They each had a lot to think about, so the walk back to town was deadly quiet. Naruto didn't even say anything because even though he was a little sadistic and didn't have a problem with killing people, he knew that the brats wouldn't feel the same way. That will be it for this video. If you want more, comment down below, like, subscribe. And see you guys later.